session or later on. But until now, we looked at several parts of social networking. We introduced it, we kind of covered some of the areas where you need to be aware of building a social presence, monitoring a social presence, developing a strategy, and then today, shortly, I want to cover a little bit about designing a social networking strategy campaign for your second assignment, but also in general, something that you can use in the near future. Now, just quickly, for your second assignment, you've been asked to create a social networking strategy for your chosen company. You've got less than 10 minutes to do all of this in groups, so you'll be recording yourself, presenting your work, presenting your research, presenting your findings, and pretty much pitching that work to us. And if you're very good with your findings, with your analysis, and with your recommendations as well, ultimately then you'll start to move from a past to second and potentially to first. And then of course, in addition to that, you'll have a vital piece of content which you've created to obviously help out your main piece of work that you've created. And that could be your last bit. So you talk about it, you present everything you have to present about your social networking strategy, and then you have, boom, you've got a viral piece of content that's going to make us think that you know what you're talking about, you understand what is the role of all the nature of the work that you've done so far. So, when you look at social networking campaigns that are done mostly across the web in general from different brands, there are several things that companies do, but also there are several recommendations that are provided by the research community around the world. Now, first thing is, of course, you need to understand your customers. You need to know who you would be trying to connect to. Okay, because that is very important. It gives you some highlights on what you need to be doing next when you start to connect and talk to these people. Second, you need to define your goals. So this comes from time to time, comes again and again, because it's very important. You don't want to be shooting yourself in the foot. You really need to know that the goals that you're setting are smart goals and they're achievable. Okay? A second thing, part of your social networking campaign is to start and select an appropriate social channel. Social networking strategy is not about being in every possible channel. It is about being in the channels where your business, the nature of the business allows you to be in, but also where your customers are spending most of the time. So you will need to be looking at these two elements when you think about social networking campaign. The next one is, of course, identifying your resources. So whatever ideas that you have, you must have people with you to support you getting that job done. So in other words, you need to be thinking about who's going to help you and how many people are involved in creating and managing that presence. Then, of course, you'll start to interact, engage, educate your users, and potentially then that's when we get to the point where we can start introducing offers and things to the customers. Now, the next stage after that is start to monitoring. You've got to monitor it. So what did we say about monitoring? We introduced tools, so social networking metrics, social networking tools, and when we're looking into them now, and this is just a table that gives you an idea about some of the tools, probably around 10, 12 in there, and also giving you a clear idea which metrics you can measure using these tools. So in other words, as soon as you start planning a strategy and everything that you want to do, this is what you would need to do. You need to measure and see how well you've done. And unless you stop and do that using the tools, you will never know. So that's why these tools are important. They help you cover some of these things. I'm not going to do metrics now, but different tools give you different metrics. And so all of this helps you to create an overall picture of your performance in your campaign. So your task is to identify, obviously, where, what will you try to do? What is the campaign that you want to do? So ask yourself, what is that you're trying to do? Next thing is, you need to tell us where, which channel this is going to be used. Then, after that, you'll need to tell us why this is happening. So which channel, why you're doing it, why this channel in particular is important, and why it works for your business in case. then when you will do that, remember we talked about time plan, the most popular keyword in the last 3 months. Okay, so this is when you're going to tell us. Obviously, part of the plan is to publish the work during this time, and then how you're going to do that. Okay, are you going to use tools to publish the content, get the content out, or are you going to do it manually using different social networking channels like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and so on? And the next thing is, of course, going viral. That piece of content. So before you think about creating something viral, you need to be thinking about elements that trigger content to go viral. And we said there are different ones. Of course, we started with passion, content that is about passion drives the content to be shared more. Then we have alarm, something that is alarming gets content to be shared more. Of course, this is as a result of research. It's not something that myself and Rich and other people came up with. It's as a result of the research that has been done in this area. And we showed you some of the research in previous lectures. Of course, prestige, mystique, power, of course, rebellion, something that is different, controversial. These are different elements that make a content go viral. So when you design the content, when you're aiming to brainstorm and think about it, you've got to be thinking about these elements and which one can help the content to go viral. Okay? And how do you do that? First thing, you start planning. Second thing, you start understanding your audience, who you will try to reach with this piece of work, where your customers hang out. So you need to make sure that the content, the viral piece of content they're trying to throw out there, you are doing it in the right social channels. And you can't do that unless you know where your customers are spending most of their time. After that, you define types of messages and the best medium, which medium and which messages. Of course, that leads you to understanding and establishing what interest that this message will trigger. So what is that going to get this message for people to talk to? Is it going to get them to talk about sport, life, whatever it's going to be? And then create and publish your content as planned. Measure the outcome using social monitoring tools. Remember, a very small piece of content goes viral. Sometimes some very expensive part of social networking strategy is actually creating that piece of viral content. And you've seen so many viral pieces of work, which obviously are very well done, but they cost a lot. But you've also seen pieces of work that went viral that costed absolutely nothing. Now I'm going to show you the one that probably costed a lot, and I posted this link on StatNet as well, which you could see. But I thought I would show this to you because I really like it. It's very well done. It's very short and it's specific to the point. And when Volvo used Jean-Claude Van Damme to present their dynamic steering of their new trucks, which is really good. And then I'll be done.
I've had my ups and downs, my fair share of bumpy roads and heavy winds. That's what made me what I am today. Now I stand here before you. What you see is a body crafted to perfection, a pair of legs engineered to defy the laws of physics, and a mindset to master the most epic of splits.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day goes, only time? And who can say if you love the road, as your heart goes, only time?
That's real. Actually, done it himself.
Now, everything about this is perfect, but that was expensive. But then, with this video, in less than 2 weeks or so that went live, they got above 36 million views on YouTube. Now, if you start to think, what type of content, what type of marketing material would have made them possible to reach out to so many people it's literally impossible to even think in less than 2 weeks. And that's why it really matters to be thinking about the role of viral piece of content in social networking channels. Because things get shared more and more because they are interesting, they get you to think. As many times as you watch this ad, you just like it. Because it's perfectly done. Now it costed them probably millions, because only Jean-Claude Van Damme probably charged them lots of money. But that's not the only thing. Any other channel that you would be using, starting from TV, that is so expensive, for them it would have been almost impossible to reach out to this many people. And by the way, this is just the beginning, because this will get shared and shared more. So I'm done with this. Good luck.